What's up, Warriors? Welcome back to the Insane Warrior YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about my first event, MLG 2007 in the Meadowlands. We're going to talk about the people I saw, the things I went through, and honestly, guys, I've talked, I don't know if I talked about this yet, but my whole plan with this series is this. I'm going to be as honest as possible. Like, I'm going to be 100% honest with y'all. I'm going to let you guys know what my feelings were going through this so you guys can kind of know what it was like to be a pro. And I think a lot of the pros probably still deal with this kind of, I don't know if the word anxiety is correct, but pretty much, also I'm going to take these videos, I'm going to put some gameplay behind it, just probably some videos of me playing Gears 5, or maybe I didn't do great, maybe not a great video for that, but a great video for being the background of this story and the stories I'm about to tell. So, first event, MLG 2007, Gears of War's first official LAN event with MLG. Let's get in it. So let's kind of build up to what was going on in Gears of War at that time. We had found out that Gears of War, of course, had been picked up by MLG. They had a online event. I remember playing VVV. Of course, I think we played one of the LGD teams. Immortal Spawn's team, I can't remember what the name of them right off the bat, but we played them as well. And I remember in that online event, the one thing that sticks out the most, that was kind of like the measuring stick. Who's going to be great? We were all in the same house. Everybody said we quad hosted, and I'll go on to that in a little bit. But the thing was, a lot of people were kind of upset whenever they found out that we were quad hosting. And I'll tell you the whole reason why we kept it on the lowdown. The reason we kept it on the lowdown was we were afraid that if everybody found out we were all in the same house, that at that time people would not understand and find it to be a disadvantage, talk to people they know, and somehow outrule it. And so we needed to establish ourselves before that rule came into effect. And I think we did a pretty good job because we did eventually come out and say, hey, we all are in the same house. But we went to the first event, or we did the online event. I'm sorry, let's talk about that first. We did the online event, and I remember losing to VVV. Mr. Puff, Stones, I think Supra. At the time, I can't remember their fourth at the time that they had. But I remember losing that tournament. And if I'm going to be 100% honest, we went onto their host. And, man, the host was so rough. Like, we had a hard time. Our shots weren't connecting. It would shoot, boom, shoot. Like a second later, it'd finally come out. We took him down to the last round in that game. And we had complained about the host being bad for us. And they said there's no other host that they could provide. That was the best one that we were going to be able to have. And I remember thinking, like, man, I felt like we got cheated because we couldn't even hardly play on this connection. And the fact we took him to the last round, it felt like we got cheated. We ended up losing. I remember Predator being like a 1v2, 1v3, and he chunks one and the other two kill him. And he wasn't even in the spot that he ended up going down at. So I remember being upset, and I remember going to college the next day, and I'm looking through the rules, and I was hoping to find something about hosts and how, like, maybe a host refusal, and I saw something that said, it said something about not having the right gamer tag. And I got looking at their gamer tags again, and Stones had a different gamer tag on MLG that he registered with, and so I put in a ticket. Long story short, we ended up getting the win because of that gamer tag, and a lot of people hated us for that. Then it came out after the tournament that we were all in the same house. A lot of people hated us for that, so we kind of went through a little bit of hate, going into the first event. I kind of felt like we had to prove ourselves. Everybody said we were online players, and I think anybody at that time, they're online players, Everybody has to prove themselves. I think maybe when we had like a match with VBI, and so I kind of had a rivalry started with VBI as well in that online tournament, and so we headed into the first event, MLG Meadowlands. And this is what this place looked like. So as you can see here, this is the Meadowlands Exposition Center. Actually, from this picture I see right here, this is exactly how it looked back in the day. Oh, sorry about that. This is exactly how it looked back in the day. And then I remember this specific area. I mean, I swear the carpet looks the exact same from those days, from MLG. It was an amazing, amazing place. Hopefully, let me see if I can find an overhead view here real quick. Expand this out. There was a parking lot that we all had to wait inside of. I'm trying to see in this street view, maybe if it'll show it. Anyway, there's like a a parking lot behind this place, a parking garage. The line wrapped around the building. And we all had to wait. It was so hot that day. We're all in there. Finally get in, we check in, and first event, we're in the split screens, guys, and it depended how well you placed in that online tournament. And I think we placed maybe 5th or 6th. I can't really remember. And I remember playing in that online tournament, and we had to go split screen for 2 rounds. And I'm telling you guys, split screen on Gears of War, and we had 12 millisecond monitors or something like that. They weren't the best TVs. And it was kind of crazy, you know. I think a couple of those rounds got pretty close. That I felt like against teams we should have been able to win easily against. But we got through it. We got into the bracket, and we met our first team in full screen. And that was... Alright, guys, this is the bracket for the Gears of War. I appreciate GearsEsportsFandom.com. They have this whole bracket. I cannot believe they've actually had this bracket. This shows us kind of everything that went on. Even at the top here, it'll tell you some of these people that were on this. This is Stone's Takedown was actually the guy on there. Illusions, I don't honestly remember him. And Bawabis. Man, however, I forgot. Super was not on this team at this time. Devastator, Fiber Optics, which is Atmo, Desecrate, Shakur. I don't remember a lot of these people. I remember Supra, Genetics. Cyanide, I remember him. Of course, Violent by Instinct. We have a whole history there that we'll get into. And then, of course, there's our team, Z-Killer, Predator, Killer, and Warrior. The original Insanes. Well, actually, I'm not original Insane, but we'll get into that to a different story. No Name Noobs with AOD Nick, as you also now know him as Nick Merckx. Yes, he is on this team. No Name Noobs with Sloth. Cloud One, and we scrimmed in 3 a lot. That was like one of our main scrim teams. And let me tell you, Nick's the same Nick as he was back then, man. I'm telling you what, that kid, he would definitely tell you when you sucked. I mean, there's nothing against it. He had a little video talking about it. Just talked about it on his stream the other day. It's kind of funny. Cloud, Scar and Cream, I remember these guys as well. And then Prophecy with God 603. Terry, Delay, and Mesmerizing. I don't remember a lot of these guys. I remember Delay. Terry sounds familiar. I don't remember exactly who that was. Of course, God 603. I do know who that was. So back on here to the bracket here. Let's just talk about our story. I don't remember this idea team here, to be honest with you. It appears whenever I kind of scrolled down, I kind of wanted to get a look. This is winner's bracket and then loser's bracket. So we knocked him into the losers bracket here, and then it looks like they lose pretty early on. So I don't really remember who was on that team. I'm sorry, guys. It's been a long time. If you're on that team and you feel offended that I forgot, I'm so sorry. Please don't. Of course, here we play a second round, Violent by Instinct, and guys, we lose this game to them 3-2. And I remember, like I said, there's a rivalry building with us and VBI going into this tournament. We were on main stage, if I'm not mistaken. I remember being on main stage, and that loss kind of hurt here, you know. Like, we felt like we had that game. And for us to lose, man, it kind of hurt. So then we came down here in the losers bracket, and we met Mob. We take them 3-2. I think this was Hot and Mild, because there was 2 Mob teams at the time, if I remember right. I believe this was Hot and Mild. Then we catch, I believe, is this Prophecy? Let me see. I'm guessing that was probably Prophecy we caught there, considering that they were put in the 7th, or they finished 8th. So we caught Prophecy, yeah. So caught Prophecy there. We hit them with the 3-0. I don't remember much about that game, to be honest with you. And then Vision had lost to LGD. We'd caught them, and we were ready for this match. That was a team we thought that we could beat them. We were excited about this match. And they were ready for us, too, and they took us to the 3-0 pretty quick. I don't remember what maps we played, but just knowing we made it this way, we were very, very, very worried about where we placed in all this. And because being in the losers bracket, things kind of gets muddied up a little bit, you know. Only 1 or 2 people are dropping out. And, you know, it's kind of like you can see No Name Noobs here. That was Nick's team at the time. They lose to Violent by Instinct. And then Violent by Instinct loses to Vision, who also 3-0'd them. And then they actually come back and win the tournament, which was blowing everybody's mind because they faced LGD Black, I believe who this was. And the fact that LGD Red And the fact LGD Red was able to defeat them was crazy. Or lose to them, sorry. The fact that VVV was able to defeat LGD, come back out of nowhere, and win the first Gears of War, proved to everybody that they were the team to beat. I don't think anybody was really looking at them. I remember looking at the LGD teams thinking that they were the best teams on the block. And I just remember, I'll tell you some funny stories about the event after this happened. So we had finished this event. We came in the 5th place, which we felt like we had left some on the table. I remember thinking that, but man, we were so happy to get pro. The Insanes had went to Chicago the year before with the original Insane that I ended up taking his spot on the team, Insane Wolverine, which was Predator's brother, and they placed very well in Halo, not into the top 8, I believe it was top 16. I don't remember exactly. I was pretty sure they told me top 16 or top 24 somewhere, but they did place well because you know how competitive Halo was back in the day. It was the go-to game. Everybody was playing it. And the fact that we were able to get 5th, enter the pro bracket, man, we were so happy. But we also felt like we left a lot on the table. After that event, I remember Z-Killer, we're kind of looking at each other, trying to figure out, like, where did we finish? You know? And Z-Killer walks up to Nexy and says, hey, he's running the tournament. He says, hey, Nexy, do you know what place we finished? And Nexy says, no, I don't know, because I don't know what place Noob's placed, or something like that. Called Z-Killer a noob. And Z-Killer's like, but we were in the last part of the loser's bracket, and then he looked up and saw who he was. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were some noob or something, my bad, and then told us that we finished in the 5th spot, and we felt relieved, because we thought maybe we were 7th at that time. So the fact that we were able to get 5th, we were happy. But I always love that story, remembering that Nexy calling Z-Killer a noob. I walked up there and the look on Z-Killer's face when that happened. I remember laughing whenever he came back and told us. I remember just laughing, laying on the ground, looking at the pro lounge. They had a pro lounge at all these events. Looking at the lounge and knowing that the next event, I'd be allowed in that thing. Be in there with some of my heroes from Halo, Walshy, Final Boss, Scott Gandhi, Ghost Ayami, Captain Anarchy. They're all in there, and I get to see in there, and I'm just knowing that, man, I'm gonna be allowed in that lounge next week or next event. It was awesome. It kind of felt like accomplishment, but we knew that there was still work to be done. We didn't. We felt like we could have definitely won the matches with VBI. They played amazing, though. Not to take anything away with them, but we did have a rivalry with this team at the time. I think we can all agree, Arctic and Orange and Skyless. Of course, the late, great Phobos. It was a great event. We were very excited. I remember as we were leaving this event, we were approached by Mob, which was a esports organization at the time. And long story short, they offered us a spot to join them because we much like everybody else, we had done this on our own dime to get to this event. We did not have sponsorship dollars behind us, especially early Gears of War. Even the stipends, not trying to dog anybody out, but the stipends really were just enough mostly to cover hotel rooms and stuff like that. Wasn't really able to cover airfare. And we're in the middle of the country. This is an East Coast. We had a pretty good flight. This is the first time I ever flew on a plane. So that was a whole crazy experience that all of them were looking at me, trying to get a reaction out of me, and I wasn't going to give it to them. Like, oh, what's going on, Warrior? Are you scared? You're on an airplane, and, that kind of thing, trying to see if I'd have the jitters, but I wasn't going to give it to them, but, looking back, I did have jitters on my first flight, but it was fun. I was happy to finally get to fly on a plane. At this time, I was 20 years old, I believe, or 19, somewhere in there, and so it was a good event. We were approached by Mob. Mob offered us a spot to be a Mob team. And we approached MLG after that and said, what do you guys think about this? Knowing that we were going to have a pro player agent now, and his name was Raymond Lau. And they had told us some things that maybe to look out for organizations. And we ended up having Z-Killer and Killa's dad stepped up and said, hey guys, we will basically be your sponsor. We will help you get to all these events. And we'll see if you guys can make your dreams come true. And I never, ever have forgotten that. And I appreciate those guys so much that they stepped in. I'm not Z Killer's son. I'm not Killa's dad's son. You know what I mean? I'm not related to them. And so for them to step up and decide to be our sponsor, to be able to help us get to these events, especially me and Predator, we weren't really we were struggling to even make this event. At least I was. I don't remember about Predator, but I was struggling to make it to this event. And so for them to step up and say, hey, we don't want you guys to have to sign away your guys' prize money or any portion of that to an org. We want you guys to be able to, chase this dream. I really, really appreciated that. I got to see Killa's dad and Z Killer's dad at Killa's wedding a couple years ago, and I remember telling him then, I was like, man, I cannot tell you. Like, I don't feel like I told you thank you enough as a kid when we were going through this. Maybe I took it for granted to a point, but man, I really, really, really appreciate how you guys came through and let us live our dreams and let us try to live our dreams. And that was an amazing time. It was not a great time. The economy was starting to make a downturn. Like I said, 2007 was when all this was happening. So anyway, it was a great time. We headed home. We always took a week off, and then we got back into the grind for the next event. And we will go over that event next in the next video. Make sure you guys leave me a comment down below. Hit like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed this video. Tell me what you guys liked about it. This is the first one, so it's going to be a little scatterbrained. I'm sorry about that. I hope you guys, made it to this part of the video and understood. But it was an amazing event, and I had a lot of fun getting to prove to this. I remember my dad telling me, this is something my dad said, and he might hate me for this, but let me go ahead and be honest. My dad told me that after this event, I didn't have a job. Like I said, I was 19 or 20. I'd been going to college. And he said, if after this, Scott, I think that it'll be time for you to go and find a job. And I thought, well, truthfully, I would think the same thing for my son, at that point. And the fact that I went there when I came back and I told him that I was a professional gamer now, he was so excited for me. And I honestly didn't hear nothing about a job after that. So I thought that was kind of funny that went down. People of the older generations definitely didn't understand gaming. And, I mean, who would have expected it to blow up to what it is today? And it's amazing that it has done that. I love that it's done that. The growth we've had, man, it is so mind-blowing. And the fact that at this tournament we had a prize pool of $14,000, and now Gears of War is being played for hundreds of thousands of dollars prize pool. It's just so much fun. It's so exciting. So anyway, if you guys did like this video, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe down below if you're new, and make sure you guys ring the bell for the notifications. We're going to be rolling through these series, going through these events. I made it, actually, I'll probably forget some stories. Maybe we'll do like some random stories video as well. Tell me, you guys, if you guys are some of the OGs, what do you guys remember about these events? And, guys, make sure you guys play hard, have fun, enjoy the rest of your guys' day. See you later.